Starting with a non-football question, I've been asking all of your teammates this too. I know the leadership council is going to decide on some kind of messaging on the jersey this year. Of course, the NCAA is allowing that. But individually, Lamont, if you could put one message on your jersey this year, what would you want that to be? Because I feel like there's so many things to say this year, especially.
That's a good question. If I had to put one thing, it would probably be 3 words, simple. Just be the change. You know, a lot of people talk about things that they want to do. A lot of people, make comments on certain situations whenever, they're not actually themselves doing anything to, indicate change at all. So I feel like in order, if you want change in the way everything's going on and all of this madness, you have to do your part in being that change that you want to see happen.
We'll go to Parth.
Hey, Lamont, what's going on? Appreciate your time this morning.
Appreciate it.
I was checking out your rap album mixtape. I'm not sure if it's an album or a mixtape, but
yeah,
I heard you rap about your child a lot, your son. How has fatherhood kind of impacted the person you've become on and off the football field?
Fatherhood, probably changed my life for the better, for the best, because it grounded me more to a sense of my more human side now. When I had my son, I stopped caring about what everybody else thought. I stopped caring about what everybody else did, and I just decided that I'm living for me and him now. Before I was kind of worried about getting comments or backlash from people, or I was worried about just everything that didn't really matter, so I guess having him brought that sense of what I really got to do, that sense of priorities to me.
Nubias Wilborn.
Lamont, walk me through, and I've been asking the similar question. Walk me through that weekend of watching games, not knowing you guys were playing, and then how did it change once you guys realized you were gonna play? Watching the team.
I couldn't walk you through it because I ain't watching.
Really?
No, I ain't turn no college games on. I ain't, you know what I'm saying, because I really felt, that was something that moved me for real in my head. So I wasn't really too focused on college football. I tuned in to NFL football, try to watch KJ or somebody out there play. But as far as college football, yeah, I ain't tuned into it at all until our season came back.
Joe Giuliano.
Lamont, getting back to Audrey's question about the patches, Coach Franklin talked about, having to, wanting to be fair to you guys, but also, I guess, being fair to the community as well. And I guess that some in the community are not exactly enlightened. How do you see this with the patch and what it's going to say, and trying to be sensitive to all sides?
Yeah. In situations like that, especially in his position, you got to understand that he serves a community. He serves a university who, like how I've said before, everybody doesn't have the same belief system. Everybody doesn't have the same way of how they operate. So in doing that, you never want to shun anybody's differences. You never want to say, oh, because they think this way, screw them or anything like that, because that's not the case. Everybody matters. So you want to take everybody's feelings and, everything into account for it. So I feel like we have a real good plan of what we want to do. And it's a symbol of, it's just a symbol of togetherness, showing that, like, basically how I just said, just because of somebody's differences or just because of somebody may, react a certain way, you can't really judge them off that. You gotta embrace the community as a whole. And that's what we plan on doing, it together as a whole team, as a whole family.
Audrey Snyder.
Lamont, you guys have rolled out the number 0 this year, and kind of a cool story behind it. What do you like about that as somebody who's played a lot of special teams, and who do you think are some top candidates to wear that number?
Yeah, no, whenever I just found out about it, whenever everybody else found out about it. I feel like it's a neat thing though. I feel like it's cool. I feel like it's kind of, sheds light on, those guys who kind of, you know, got to go through those trust the process guys, you know, take it step by step. And I feel like it's a real good accolade. And honestly, I feel like we have too many contenders. Like I would sit here naming 10, 20 different names for you. We have so many different contenders from, you know, Jonathan Sutherland, you know, Andrew Hartlob. Of course, those are two, you know, special teams, standout guys. And I feel like it's a lot of, you know, competition for that number now.
Mark Wogenrich.
Lamont, did you really think you were going to get another chance to play this season? Did you work toward that in August and September? And then the ability to put another season of film to get you, you know, a better visual for the NFL. How important is that? What does that matter for you this year?
Yeah, you know, I simply love the game of football. So I haven't not went through a fall. I haven't been through a fall without playing football in, I think, about 17 years. You know, I've been playing since I was 4. So it's like it wasn't. I didn't really know how to take it. But in my head, yeah, I definitely thought I kind of thought it was all over for, and you know, I just had to adjust your thinking whenever that happens. But I'm so happy it came back. So now everything is just geared towards the season.
Parth.
Lamont, I'd like to ask a follow-up about your music, if that's cool with you. You know, you kind of rap a lot about some of the hard times you've seen growing up, some of the struggles and adversity you faced. Can you talk about kind of what were those hurdles for you, you know, all through your youth, and how much does that motivate you to provide a better life for yourself and for your son moving forward?
Yeah, where I come from, honestly, it's a disconnect, you know, from different parts of, you know, America or other Americas, the other people experience, you know what I'm saying? Because of the low income area, you know, so many different low income housing areas. And it's just like it's honestly like a dark hole for real. Nothing really good comes out of it. Tyler was able to, you know, be one of the first guys who, Tyler Boyd, he graduated back in 2013. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals now. He was able to be one of those players who, you know, got over that. But it's not a lot of things like that. Like I said in interviews before, there were players like better than me, like family members better than me who never got the opportunity I did, simply because they didn't have the support, or simply because, you know, nobody cared for real. So I just feel like all those that dark hole, all those obstacles, the things I had to do, you know, to make a living, I feel like it all made me who I am. But at the same time, you know, that's why I make that music. I make that music to express it, to get it out. And then after I get it out, I just try to build positively on everything else.
Joe Giuliano.
Lamont, following up, do you feel you have that support, and how much would it mean to you to reach the next level?
Yeah, that's one thing that, you know, I could say kept me grounded, because I have best friends, you know, sitting in jail right now. I have best friends dead right now. You know what I mean? My support system is literally what kept me from being dead or in jail. So I thank my family tremendously. And, you know, whenever I get that next level, I can't wait to be a blessing to somebody else. That's my biggest thing about making it to the next level. Like, I mean, it's going to be cool whenever I make it and everything rah, but I can't wait to be a blessing to my mother as much as she sacrificed for me. I can't wait to be a blessing for my grandmother as much as she sacrificed, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Audrey Snyder.
Lamont, Coach Lorig was telling us that you went to him, and he said that you walked into his office to try and lobby to get some returns. What do you remember about that process? What did Coach Lorig know or not know about you as a returner when you showed him? And how do you think maybe you can help in that area this year?
Yeah, with Coach Lorig, I actually did this to him last year whenever he first came in. But, you know, it was like in the mix and everything. You know, I didn't really get the chance to. But I just remember because he said something about, you know, one guys that can run the ball, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I ain't get a chance to up here. You're gonna have to check my high school film out. And he did, and then he said he's a coach, so he's a guy who evaluates film and can tell talent whenever he sees it. So I feel like I'm talented with the ball in my hands, and I feel like with that opportunity, I'll be able to that drive start battle. I feel like I could help out with that a lot.
David Eckert.
Hey, Lamont. Thanks for your time. How you doing?
No, I'm all right. How you?
Doing good, thanks. Hey, I wanted to ask you about, that other safety position and, kind of what you're seeing from the guys competing for that role, and I guess how you would just kind of assess what's going on there so far.
Yeah, Jaquan Brisker right now. Jaquan Brisker right now. He's doing his thing. He's locking that down. Getting interceptions, flying all over the field. And we got a lot of. That's the best thing about this year, because I feel like whenever you're on teams like this where there's a lot of competition, where you have you got Tyler Rudolph, who could play either position. You got Jair Brown, who came from Lackawanna, just like him. You got Jonathan Sutherland, who's had a plethora of playing time, and then guys like Andrew Hartlaw, who's nobody's thinking about, who runs a freaking 4.2, doesn't even have to stretch. You know what I mean? So we have depth everywhere, and it's good to see guys competing right now, because with me playing at star, there does have to be a third safety spot. So I feel like guys are fighting and clawing, and we have so much depth in the room. It's literally a wide open competition. That's what makes this program so great.
Nubias Wilborn.
Yes. Lamont, walk me through that first contact, whether it was Wednesday or whatever day it was. What did it feel like? And then the helmet, the pads, the whole nine. Just walk me through that experience.
Yeah. It felt like we was back. Felt like we was back whenever we was hitting. Felt like we was back in my legs, in my back, everywhere, man. But that feeling is a feeling I miss. That soreness you get from enduring camp, from running around for 2 hours straight. That's a feeling you kind of take for granted. Something that I haven't felt in a while, because we haven't had spring ball. So being able to get out there and do that, I feel like it's amazing for us, and I feel like it's amazing for the chemistry as well.
Joe Giuliano.
Well, Lamont, can you tell me where you were when you heard that football was back, and how did you keep from going stir crazy waiting for that decision?
Well, see, I literally thought the season was over, So that being so huge on me, I couldn't show that. I didn't show it. Like if you talk with my mom, she'd tell you, like, she was a little worried, because like whenever they canceled the season, I didn't seem upset, or I didn't seem flustered or anything. I came to the realization that, like, okay, if this happened, I have to handle business. I can't cry. I can't run away from it. So whenever the season came back, I'm trying to think where I was at. I kind of had, you kind of have those inside sources, different people coming to me. So I kind of, had a feeling it was leading back up. And whenever I got the news, it was just like, I think I got the news and I went and worked out. I went and worked out. So that's what I did. I didn't get too happy, nothing about it. Just right back to work.
Parth.
Lamont, you kind of touched on it earlier, but you're kind of one of the most outspoken guys on this team when it comes to social and racial issues, on Twitter, on social media, whatever. Has that kind of always been you, or did it take time for you to kind of mature and find your voice when it comes to those issues?
Yeah. So it's definitely always been me. That's always been who I am. But whenever you think about it, whenever you step into the national spotlight and you're doing 30-minute hour interviews at the age of 13, 14 years old, it kind of, how you carry yourself in your life kind of adapts, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like all eyes on you now, you know what I mean? If I do something and John Doe does something, it's John Doe, it's not gonna look the same weight, it could be the same thing, but just because of my name is on it, it's gonna be so much more higher. And being that from the age of 13, 14 on, it kind of puts you in a like a self-absorbent type state where you're not your true self for real. You're kind of who everybody else wants you to be. You know, you're playing these roles, you're all in line, you're doing this, that, X, Y, but you're not really saying what you want to say. You're not really being who you wanted to be. And that's literally how I answered it. Like, kind of whenever my son came around, my son coming around kind of woke that up, was like, all right, I got one on my own. So I can't have a son on my own and not be a man on my own. You know what I mean? So him coming back, I starting to get back into that, I think around like 2017 years, you know, with him being on the way, I started to realize that, and, you know, that's when I started to open up back to, you know, that true self of who I really am, you know.
Kenny Shearlinger.
Lamont, thanks for doing this and opening up. It's awesome. You talked about just a couple minutes ago about how you weren't completely confident that the season was going to happen. How did you flip that switch in your mind and to get ready to the season mentally now that we're only weeks away from it?
It's crazy because that flip is still trying to switch for real. Because whenever you have something so drastic, and I mean like drastic, like if this was me like 4 years ago getting that news, I probably would have threw stuff, punched holes in walls, went in the bathroom, cried or something. But whenever you get news that drastic, that what in my head, that flip I had to switch from having the season, being able to put stuff on tape to just nothing, at least until, you know, January. It was kind of it wasn't hard, but like keeping that kind of bluff on, you know what I'm saying? That was the harder part of it, you know, trying to maintain. And whenever I went to that state, you know, I'm thinking like, this is for good. We're not going back. And then ended up going back. You got to get back out of that state because it's a more of, you know, let me handle things that are business, you know, stuff outside of football approach. But then, you know, when football comes back, football is, you know, that first priority. So you got to switch priorities back up. You got to make sure that football remains, you know, that student athlete remains number one as it was before everything happened. So
We'll go to Tyler Donahue.
Hi, Lamont. Thanks for the time today. Jaquan Brisker last year coming in from the junior college level. How do you think that helped him? And what do you anticipate for him at the safety role this year? And additionally, Jair Brown coming from the same school after 2 years there, a lot of success. Is he set up for a similar immediate impact in your opinion?
Yeah, you could kind of see, and as major love to Coach Duda at Lackawanna because I know one of my best friends played at Lackawanna, so I know the program he got there. I know how he builds those guys, but you could kind of see that those guys come in, you know, already having expectations for, you know, bigger guys, stronger guys, faster guys. So that's how they play. That's how they carry themselves. So whenever they come in, it's not like they're missing too much of a step. It's just like, all right, this is Big Ten football now. But they already have that idea. So those guys hit the ground running. You know what I mean? Jaquan came in, interceptions out of nowhere. Tig came in, being real stout on coverages, knowing his stuff, you know, not having too many mental errors. And, you know, that kind of maturity from that junior college level, it translates over real well.
Fourth.
Lamont, I don't want to get, you know, overly personal or anything, so just let me know. But I know, you know, we talked about your son in the previous questions. When do you get to see him, and what is it like in those moments when you are spending time with him?
Yeah, no, you good. I actually haven't seen him in like 2 months, going on 3 months now. So it's rough for me. It is rough, but at the same time, you know, that support system I was talking about earlier, that support system I had is amazing. He's 2 years old and he calls my phone for nothing already. You know what I mean? So I tried to build that relationship with him real early. So you know, he kind of knows, but my family, that support system I got, they always taking care of him. They're always watching him. You know, like I said, he literally calls me whenever he feels like it. He's bored. He'll call Dad. Literally yesterday, he called me just to call me Mont the whole time. So, you know, I don't see him too much, but I understand, you know, priorities, and me doing what I got to do now is going to get me, you know, that relationship that we're supposed to have handling these priorities now is going to build that.
We'll go to Elton Hayes.
Hey, Lamont, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, I know earlier this summer, the Penn State women's basketball team had a voting initiative where they had someone come in there and kind of explain to them the history of voting, the importance, and also to register them. Did you all do something like that for football? And if not, do you know if you all plan to before November?
Yeah, they actually released a video, a voting video about, about the ins and out of that. And they actually sent us a few graphics, to post on social media about voting and things like that. So we'd had something similar in our arsenal. Yeah.
Dustin Hawkinsmith.
Hey, Lamont. I wanted to get your thoughts just on, we can kind of assume you and Jaquan, the guys at safety, what's happening at the rest of the safety spots, the rest of that competition. What have you seen? Maybe some young guys jump out to you in that mix?
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of, it gives me, because of finally getting over that sanctions hump and everything. And when you're getting in the real groove of everything, it gives me like those real powerhouse college team vibes because of the depth we have right now. We have probably four or five safeties who can be in that spot. Me, Brisker, or any of the other guys I name, any of those guys can literally step up, and it's literally like a wide open competition. It's a battle for whoever shows up. We're writing stuff down on one-on-one reps. We're counting, man-to-man reps, basically just trying to find out who the, best cover guys is, the best over top guys are to fit the scheme. And I feel like, it could honestly, at this moment right now, it can be anybody. And that's the honest truth.
Nubias Wilborn.
Lamont, you obviously everybody knows you're a vocal guy on the Twitter machine. What has been that you can share that probably isn't too vulgar, some of the more wilder responses you've gotten from things you said that you kind of remember?
Oh my gosh, no, man, I done got everything, like literally anything you can imagine. The N-word, he needs to transfer, the biggest 5-star bus. I done seen it all, man. I done seen it all where they talk about my family, you know what I mean? Going back, talking about my pops, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And it's like, I ain't asked for it, but it's what come with it. So you got to deal with it and take it in stride.
Why doesn't it deter you?
Because I know who I am. You know what I mean? I know who I am, and I'll bet on myself and my knowledge, my intellectual knowledge, my physical knowledge of whatever. I bet on myself 10 times out of 10, and it really just doesn't faze me because, like how I said, with my son being born, I kind of came into the realization that I don't have to be less of who I am for other people anymore. So that's part of it,
John Petishnon.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Hey, how you doing this morning, Lamont? Thanks for the time.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hey, a couple days ago, earlier this week, James was asked and talked about the diversity of the coaching staff. And I'm wondering, from a player's perspective, what's the impact on the field and off the field when you do have a coaching staff that's so diverse?
Yeah, it kind of, especially coming from where I come from, like I don't come from, a diverse community, you know what I'm saying? So coming up here and, being able to talk to, coaches of whatever background or coaches similar background, it's cool. It's good. It's real for the culture, for the whole team culture. I feel like it's positive because a lot of guys feed off of it, especially whenever you have a diverse staff and those guys that are part of your diverse staff are, stand-up people. Then that's a good thing as well too. So I feel like it's that diversity, it brings a togetherness.
Tyler Donahue.
We had a chance to talk to Joey and Keaton out of the cornerback room yesterday. Can you talk about the impact that group that came in last year, the 4 cornerbacks who are now in their second year on campus, what they can do for this team now and what you think they can do for this team in the future?
Oh, them boys gonna be special. I tell you that much. Marquise, Joey, Keaton, and Day. Oh man, dog. I can't. It's hard because those guys are so good. Like how I just was describing the safety position battle. It's the same thing at corner because any of those guys could play. All of them could run. All of them could cover. And I feel like it'll be tremendous. And I feel like our secondary will take tremendous strides this year.